Making sure we had a microphone there. What's going on, y'all? Good morning. Welcome out to DKR-Texas Memorial Stadium as Texas gets set to take on San Jose State in Game 2. So much to get to this morning as the guys warm up. I think we're going to kind of just pinpoint a few guys as they're warming up and talk about them. Talk about the offensive line, the play last week. Talk about Arch Manning. Talk about the running backs. We want to know what you guys want to talk about as we go through this morning. So hit us up on YouTube and Facebook. This is...
It's 90 minutes until kickoff.
It's 90 minutes to kickoff. Every time that happens, everybody jumps. It's hilarious. It always happens. But we're going to get into all kinds of different position groups, what you want to see after last week. We'll try to see if we can grab anybody. I'm going to be honest. 90 minutes to kick last week, it felt like the stadium at Ohio Stadium was buzzing. It was full. It was crazy. I mean, I could probably count the number of people in the stadium right now. That's not an indictment. It's just, it is what it is. This is a month. Actually, Teddy, show the student group. I actually like this. So, student group's in a solid place right now. Listen, for Georgia last year, feels like they had another big home game. Definitely for Georgia. That thing was packed 2 hours before kick. This morning, useful, decent crowd. But you can, as Teddy pans around the stadium, you can see there's just nobody in here yet. 90 minutes to kick, everybody's out tailgating, which is fine. We were kind of joking about what are the vibes this morning. Are the vibes good? It's an early morning after such a build-up to Ohio State last week. And a little bit of a letdown, I guess, in terms of result. I think if you're the Texas defense, you feel pretty good. That's kind of the nice part of it. If you're the Texas defense, you feel like we established something last week. Ohio State crossed the 50-yard line technically 3 times. On their opening drive, they got to the Texas 49, but in reality, again, the 49. So I guess it is 3 if you're going to go by statistics. But really, they only crossed the 50 twice otherwise. But both of those were touchdowns. And the first touchdown was obviously marred in penalties. 2 15-yard penalties that really are a 15-yard penalty and a holding penalty that just allowed Ohio State to kind of get down inside the 10. And then they just went 4 straight runs. They went from the 8 to the 6 to the 4 to the 1 and then punched it in on 4th and goal. And if Texas gets a stop there, maybe it's a different game. But it's 7-0 at the half, and you're feeling pretty good, I would think. And then you get into that second half, and they had the one big play to Carnell Tate, and Jalen Gobo gets beat. It's a 40-yard touchdown. That's 14 points. I think Ohio State realized our defense is going to play pretty well today. We don't have to do anything. Julian Sands' first start. We don't have to do anything crazy to give this game away, and they didn't. In the end, they did offensively what they needed to do, got a couple first downs, but they were fine punting the football and let their defense play the game. Texas was, people were very critical of Steve Sarkisian and his play calling, which take whatever side of that you want. Arch Manning's first start on the road against a defending national champion it's a tough position to be in, number one. And then Arch didn't play great in the first half. A little overwhelmed, it felt like, in the moment. The first play I thought was such a well-designed play. And let me see give me 1 second here. Teddy, take a peek. Give me 1 second. I'm going to talk about that.
TJ, coming down.
Okay, sorry, Teddy. As we're gonna try to grab some live guests, I'm just gonna step out of screen for a minute. But point being, Arch Manning was not great in that first half. The first play was such a well-designed play by Steve Sarkisian. He rolls Arch out to the right. He's got DeAndre Moore wide open, and he bounces it. It's 3 yards short, and that was kind of like a microcosm of the first half. He just didn't throw the ball all that well. And that's okay. Again, guys, this is a 16, 17-game season if they get where they want to go. And that environment is only going to help him as he moves forward. Now you've got this month of September with 3 games. I need to stop calling them scrimmages. with 3 games, San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston the next 3 weeks, and then a bye week before you get into SEC play. But it's going to give them a real opportunity to figure out who they want to be, what they're good at, what they're really good at, what they excel at, what they're elite at, and then figure out from there who the guys they can trust. I think today everybody's like, I think there's this thought that because of what happened last week, Arch Manning's going to come out and throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. And listen, he might. But I think we're going to see a real heavy dose of Quintravian Wisner and CJ Baxter and let that running game get going. I am more than convinced, and again, I can go back to this stat over and over again because everybody thinks as good a play caller as Sark is. Part of that comes in the passing game. Well, every year that he's been a full head coach, so 10 seasons as a head coach, they've had a 1,000-yard rusher. And I think that stat gets overlooked a lot. Sark talks about it. We are going to run the football, and they couldn't last year in the 2 games against Georgia, against Ohio State, even against Arizona State a little bit. So I have a feeling they did it last week. CJ Baxter and Quintravian Wisner were pretty good in the run game. I think they ran for 166 yards. So there's an opportunity, I think, there for them to really establish the run game over these next three weeks. We're going to get to see a little bit of Christian Clark, which we didn't last year, towards Achilles in preseason camp last year. He's coming back from that. He's got that boost, that bolt of speed that you look for in a running back. And we'll see Jarrett Gibson too, who had a nice freshman year last year. So there's a lot to get into. Like I said, not a lot of people down here. The guys are kind of in and out of the locker room right now. Hey, let's get this one, Teddy. So I'm gonna have Teddy focus right over here on this fine Australian that's gonna catch that ball right there, number 19. That's Jack Bowster. What a story this is. We get to talk to him for the first time this week. Jack is a punter from Australia, and as you guys, I'm sure, remember, Michael Dixon came from Australia and just tore the cover off the football every time he punted it. And now he's with the Seahawks. I mean, the guy won MVP of the Houston Bowl. What, I mean, how does a punter win MVP of a game? That's the craziest thing. But that buzz, I'll never forget sitting in that press box, and that buzz kind of started when that happened. But anyway, so back to Jack. Jack's got a great story. As he was at Utah and came in for Texas, and last week did exactly what he needed to do, punting the football. Pinned him inside the 10-yard line 3 different times. Just really good. And that special teams is a weapon when you get a chance to have a guy that can, whatever number you need him to punt, if it's 36 yards, 40 yards, pin him inside, just get it inside the 10. That's a weapon. And Jack Bowster, I think that's gonna be a fun one this year to watch, because again, when you don't have it, you kind of stop thinking about it, but when you get it, you go, oh, that changes games, that flips games. And so I think the story of Jack Bowster will be a fun one to for Texas to watch this year and kind of see how that plays out. Darby Brown's going to join me now. Darby, what were your thoughts? Darby was there Monday and got a chance to talk to Jack.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think of Jack?
He's pretty fun. It's just funny when you can talk with someone that grew up with a very different perspective of football, as we all know it, growing up in Australia, and kind of his journey into punting. And I mean, he crushed it last week, so he's bringing a very good energy to this group. And I would say that kind of shows in his personality when we got to talk to him.
I think the unique thing is when you have a punter, you really notice it. Like, you noticed it last week. He flipped the field. He pinned him inside the 10. When you don't have it, you kind of forget about it, and you go, oh, that was a 40-yard punt, whatever. I think he's going to be pretty critical. And we didn't get to see Mason Shipley last week, the transfer from Texas State. So special teams is we'll dissect kind of a little bit here and there of these things, but like, special teams has always been pretty good under Sark. After, there are times it wasn't before that. I think that really changes things when you get that opportunity. What are you looking forward to most today? What do you want to see?
I want to see Arch settle in, make those early throws that he was trying to do last week, and kind of see where the offense can go from there. I think a lot has been said about Sark's play calling and maybe trying to hold him in a box a little bit, but I think when you see your quarterback not able to complete the easy throws, how do you open the playbook from there and have the confidence that he can make those home run, plays that they have as well. So I think just seeing him kind of get things going the way they'd like to. I mean, they should be able to do what they want to do. So I think we're not going to see everything. They're not going to roll out everything.
Sure.
But I think just seeing him establish what he's trying to do early will be key.
I think these next 3 games are a real good opportunity for Texas to establish who they want to be,
right?
What they can be the rest of this year. What are they really, really good at, and what can we see on that front? We are inside the live stream pregame show as Texas gets set to take on San Jose State at 11 a.m. Brought to you by Best Day Brewing. In terms of the offense, I think everybody's excited to kind of see if Arch can settle in. I felt like he didn't look like himself last week at all.
Right.
And I say that in turn. I know we only saw him bits and pieces last year, but in his 2 starts, and then when he came in relief of Quinn against UTSA, we saw a really confident kind of play with no thought, just like go play football. He was making throws. I know those teams aren't Ohio State,
100%.
but it just didn't feel like he was himself last week.
He didn't look like someone who has, this is kind of extreme, but he didn't look like someone who has played serious football, and he has played serious football. I mean, it's not like this was the first time he had been out on there. I mean, obviously, first road star, all the pressure, all the things, but the stuff he was doing was very uncharacteristic of a player of his status, and he didn't just roll into Texas and become the starting quarterback. I mean, he earned it, and I think that he was doing things that, were just sort of outside of himself. So, you look to see that. And then on defense, I think you look to see them get some takeaways today. I think they've really been trying to emphasize going after the ball and making those plays happen, and I think there's guys that are definitely going to be itching to do that today against this team.
That was one of the things Sark talked about last week. I thought like a fly hit. Is it rain?
We're raining,
That was one of the things Sark talked about I thought was interesting was in that Ohio State game, obviously they didn't have any turnovers.
Right.
But what you noticed was, and this is what he said, there weren't a lot of opportunities. Julian Sand wasn't throwing the ball a lot. But in terms of fumbles, you didn't see the second guy coming in to punch the ball out the way that they've done it in the past. One of the guys he really pointed to, I saw him here a few minutes ago, was Leonga Lafau, one of the linebackers that Sark has been impressed with him since the day he walked on campus. And I think there's a real opportunity for Leonga. Now, everybody talks about Anthony Hill, but I think Leonga Lafau could really have an impact on this team this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think all of those guys are, that he's a leader now. We had, people left, and he's the one that's going to have to step up and be a leader and be kind of the guy, he and Malik really together, as well as Michael Tapp, obviously, too. But yeah, I think that there's going to be some emphasis on trying to get to the football as we had talked about. Another thing, that's just flip-flopping around here, but just kind of talking about things we saw.
And I'm not looking at my phone texting people. I want y'all to know that. I'm not listening to Darby. I'm trying to figure out if y'all have any questions, hit us up on social media on Facebook and YouTube. Sure. We did have a question I'll get to in just a second.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
When they were warming up, Arch, he does his warm-ups with all the receivers, and then they kind of huddle up, which they do every game. But he definitely he said something. I couldn't read his lips exactly, but you can only imagine kind of what he's saying to those guys because I think a big message after the game last week was he felt like he let the receivers down kind of. He didn't do enough to get them involved, and so I think he was definitely kind of gathering them together, and it seemed like there was a good energy going on out there.
I thought Arch was a little bummed out on
sure.
Monday. Obviously Saturday you're a little bummed out, but I thought, and again, young quarterback learning how to lead, all those things. We've talked to him a bunch. Archie Manning at one point said, the shorter the answer, the better.
Yeah.
So you don't start just rambling and thinking you have to talk a lot. But one thing that I noticed was he basically said that there's a real it's all good, you're all good. This happens a lot. People just almost walking in front of our camera. But he basically was in the realm of he gives us good answers. He has personality. And this is not a knock on Quinn. Quinn just wasn't that guy. That wasn't what Quinn's capability was. There's Will Matthews. What's up, brother? And that wasn't in Quinn's wheelhouse. It's in Arch's wheelhouse. He has fun. He's honest. I just thought Monday he was just, and again, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but he was just a little, I don't know if bummed out's the right word.
No, he was down. I think he was honest about how the last, the post 24 hours after that game had been. It had been hard. He had moments with family members to kind of build him back up, but I think it was lingering. As of Monday morning, it lingered, which is totally understandable. I think that was a game that he will look back. He'll remember that for the rest of his career, as kind of one of those moments of, I had to do something really hard. It didn't go well. What happened afterwards? How did you build yourself back up?
Yeah.
And I think, anyone who's ever tried to do anything hard could probably find moments of their life where they can relate to that, just not at that level. But yeah, I mean, he was definitely down, and now we'll see how he gets to respond. But a great opportunity at home to get some confidence going again. And, I say that, I don't know how much confidence he'll really gain over the next few weeks, but him being able to do what he wants to do will definitely help.
I think it's just more comfortability in a game situation against a different opponent.
Right.
That to me is going to be the biggest thing, because again, let's say he completes that first pass last week to DeAndre Moore. That could totally change the complexion of that game. DeAndre maybe had a one-on-one capability there with that guy, the defender. He could have taken it 30 yards.
For sure.
And all of a sudden you feel confident. When you miss a few of those throws, he's probably saying to himself the first half, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I don't ever miss these throws. I'm missing these throws over and over again.
Yeah.
So I thought he responded well in the second half. They simplified some things at the half. Sark said he sat down and talked to Arch at the half, which I thought was pretty revealing of maybe how bad that first half was.
Right.
Was that Sark felt the need? He doesn't usually do that. He felt the need to sit down with Arch and say, hey, let's simplify some of your reads.
Look at what you're seeing.
Make it a little easy. And then listen, he had 3 throws in the second half. The one to Wingo for 28. I thought the one to Jack Endries on the sideline was probably his best throw of the day, but that throw to Parker Livingston was really good too for the touchdown. And that's what you see in him. That's what you expect to see in him.
And that is what he's carrying into with this game, but also with all the outside noise and the disappointment and the things like that. So it's a balance. He's got to focus on what you just mentioned, the positives at the end of that game, and build from there. But it will be interesting. It's so funny going from last week to this game, and just the pregame vibes. It's just, it's gloomy, it's kind of raining, it's slowly fans are making their way in here for this 11 a.m. game. It's
very slowly.
Very different.
Very slowly. There's nobody here. Besides the students, there's nobody here. Again,
it's early.
We got an hour and 10 minutes to kick, so that's an interesting one. I do think, I feel like I said this off the top, I feel like people think, Arch is just going to throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns today. I think they're going to establish the run game. I think they're going to get Quintravian Wisner and CJ Baxter are going to get a lot of touches, or a lot of yards. Maybe not a lot of touches, but a lot of yards. I don't think we're going to see Arch run a ton the next 3 weeks. I think Sark knows I've got that in the bag for October against Florida, for November against Georgia. Some of the bigger games they're going to play this year, OU. I can use that when I need to. I don't need to get him hurt against San Jose State by running him 15 times a day. Like, I think maybe they get him hit early and let him get into it, but
there is that balance for sure. Even with the running backs, I mean, nobody wants to get injured in the next few weeks. That would be really a big disappointment. So, and a mistake, quite frankly. I mean, you can't control everything, but you got to do what you can to keep everybody healthy. So even with those running backs, I think they showed a lot last week that they're going to be able to do what they want. So you get them in here a little bit, and then see what happens from there.
All right, let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about the wide receivers, because I thought that was an interesting position last week. There was some disappointment amongst Sark in their maybe perimeter blocking a little bit. He wants it a little better on that front. But I thought, boy, Ryan Wingo's going to be a star. We heard that for the last, and he will be for the last year and a half. I think he's going to be awesome. DeAndre Moore was, again, wide open on the first play of last week, but didn't do a lot. Parker Livingston with a great touchdown catch. He had Dalen McCutcheon, a guy that he said he wasn't a 5-star recruit coming in or expected to do a lot. He was the one freshman that played last week of those 4 guys out of Kalik Lockett and Jamie French and Michael Terry. So I think there's an opportunity for those guys today to get on the field, those younger guys.
Yeah.
But I think they've got to establish something with Wingo and with DeAndre Moore and Parker Livingston, and if Emmett Mosley plays, Emmett Mosley.
100%. And the guys that we were able to talk to, they said, it's us as much as it is Arch. We got to do a better job to be where we need to be, and you mentioned the blocking and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it goes both ways, and they do need to get more involved. But it was just not there in that first game. But I think the next few weeks, good opportunity for a lot of those guys, and that's what Sark wants to see, a lot of different players in the games over the next few weeks for sure. But we have a lot of question marks, as you mentioned, with that group, just because it is a lot of new faces, and also DeAndre Moore being more of the Wingo being more of the one. We'll see who's the one. To be honest, we don't really know.
We know Wingo and DeAndre Moore will be. I assume it'll be Parker because of what he did last week, and then they'll bring him at Mosley in if he's available. Again, he was hurt last week, didn't play. You did a story on Parker Livingston this week. I've said this probably a little bit here and there. I'm really excited for Parker. I grew up with his dad, Brad, and so getting to talk to Brad through this and hearing the excitement they've had, not just for him last week, but for the last year of his development.
Yeah.
What were some of the biggest takeaways that you took from your Parker story and from Sark, too, and what he was saying about Parker?
Well, Sark compared him to Quintravion Wiser in a guy that just has showed up.
Which I'm going to interrupt you. That's an enormous comparison because of what Trey did to get himself in that running back room and then have 1,000 yards last year.
100%, and it's spot on in that they come in, they're not one of the flashy recruits that everyone's talking about, but they just work, develop in certain ways that they can be reliable. Like for Trey, it was special teams, and they saw things with Parker where he was going to always make those catches. He was always going to make certain parts of his game there, and just being very consistent, and so someone they could trust. And over time, just started working more and more and showing his work ethic. So he definitely was a guy that had the respect from the team before we just, maybe last year, I think he had mentioned that, Parker had mentioned that Sark came up to him before the Texas A&M game and kind of gave him a, hey, I'm glad you're here, you belong to be here, we see what you're doing, and that was before all the fans got to see it and we got to see it in the game. So
and that was
huge. Yeah.
That's a huge moment for a kid that was really last year 7th or 8th on the depth chart.
Yeah.
Jonte Cook, that whole situation happens, he leaves. It's not like Parker got to step into that role and be the 6th receiver.
Right.
But he still kept working and kept that work ethic going, and then Sark was able to really
100%.
trust him.
And so I think you had all that you learned about, in the Monday press conference, and then also some of his personality. He mentioned he lives with Arch, he's his roommate, he's the chef in the house, he likes to make steak, and we got some of that. He gets his fashion advice from his mom, so just seems like a great kid. Obviously, the family, seems like he comes from a great family, and so it's always fun when you get to peel back the curtain a little bit on some of that. But definitely an advantage when you live with your quarterback.
Right.
You can have kind of endless, if you want to, you can have as much conversations about what's going on as you need to. So I think that is, he's definitely going to have the chemistry there with Arch.
The family's a trip. And Brad would be the first one to tell you. They are, what a blast. He's got 2 brothers. I think they're on TikTok at Livingston Brothers, if I remember correctly. And they put out reels that are just, for
That's
them,
funny.
it's just hilarious. It's fun to watch those guys. They had a blast at Ohio State last week. They were bringing people over and talking to them in the stands.
That's great.
It was crazy. So they had a good time. But to your point, I do think for Parker, not just now he's rooming with Arch, and he has that rapport, but they developed that rapport as Arch was the backup quarterback last year. So when Arch took the 2 reps, Parker was taking the 2 reps, and Ryan Wingo was taking some of those 2 reps. And so they got really comfortable with each other, and that's a good advantage for him as well.
Yeah, and that goes to, a lot of teams in this day and age, it's just transfer. This team does have a lot of guys that they have been able to keep and develop over the years, and that stuff happens when you have your backup quarterback with your, second string receivers, and they start growing together. So I think, whereas if you're just establishing that the start of the season, moving on, it's a little bit more challenging. But they do have a leg up. We saw it with Parker. We didn't see it with a whole lot of the others last week, but it was early, so things will develop.
Today, there's a great opportunity for some guys to really establish themselves and say, "Hey, I'm here." And I think that's the fun part of this for Sark. Is he's going to see, he knows what Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons and Ethan Burke and Michael Taff and those guys can do. But what can the guys he's been talking about that are the Kobe Blacks?
Yeah.
We saw Grayson Littleton last week. What can Jelani McDonald? I can't tell you how many times we heard last year from Jade Barron and Andrew Makuba and those guys. Boy, Jelani McDonald's coming.
I've been around Jelani a long time because I covered him in high school. He played quarterback. I mean, he's just a freak athlete. He just would do whatever he wanted. Played 4A high school football at Connolly, and he could do whatever he wanted on the field pretty much at all times. Absolute freak athlete, and I think he could have a big year. And he, as you mentioned, is kind of a guy they need to have a big year at moments because he's kind of one that could fly under the radar a little bit for people.
There are a lot of guys on defense. I think I'm interested to see who makes the plays. Is it Kobe Black? Is it a Jordan Johnson-Rubel? Is it a Lance Jackson, a true freshman that played last week? There were only 4 true freshmen that played last week. Lance Jackson was one of them at edge, which is the position of maybe their biggest strength this year. With Colin Simmons and Ethan Burke and Trey Moore, and the list goes on and on and on. So they moved Brad Spence out there. So that list goes on and on. That part of it will be fun. It's the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. We're an hour from kick. Well, we're not an hour from kick. We're an hour
Probably
and 5
an hour
minutes.
and
from
5
kick.
minutes, yeah.
I gotta look up at the board. 65 minutes to kick between Texas and San Jose State. This is the pregame show on the live stream on YouTube and Facebook, brought to you by Best Day Brewing. I do have a question on here. We do want your questions. We want to know what you guys want to see today, what you're looking forward to. Darby, Robert and Winona say good morning. Good morning to y'all. Susan wants to know, did you arrive early to get a better parking spot? It's a while till the game starts.
We sure did.
Did you get here early?
8 a.m. We
Okay.
got here early.
Okay.
Got level
Good.
2 of the garage out here, so
Yeah.
we got good spots, but you have to be in here early in order to get set up. I think a lot of people don't know what happens from our perspective during the games. You got to get in here, you got to get everything set up. You start filming when the players arrive,
Sure.
so it's important to be early. So yeah, we fight the crowd. We don't get in the tailgating mess, we'll say that, but yeah.
Yeah, we need to though.
I know.
I wish CBS I wish we just had our own tailgate.
My fiance's out there somewhere.
Oh,
Shout
is
out.
he?
Yeah.
Do you think he's watching?
No, I
No,
don't
he's
think
not
he's watching.
All right, so we want to know what you guys want to hear, what you guys want to see. Darby mentioned the vibes. Here comes Texas. Darby or Teddy. It's good. Here comes Texas. We got a little.
Yeah,
I think this
there's
is special
some group
teams.
coming out.
I could be wrong. I think we're gonna get a little special teams run out here. And listen, it's something because to Darby's point, the vibes here are. There they are. I see Jack Bowster.
They are
Little Mason
vibes.
Shipley. It's Will Stone. I mean, the excitement is palpable. There's nobody here yet. It's okay. We're an hour to
People
kick.
are waking up. I don't know.
But it's actually kind of good. It's like
Yeah.
September kind of needs to be this way because they need to figure some things out. I think
For
the fan
sure.
and we talked about this too. Let's not. I don't want this to be mistaken. This home schedule is not great.
No,
Like-
yeah.
And this year they don't play Tennessee or Alabama or LSU that list, it's the same as last year, but like that list goes on and on. There's not this like overwhelming excitement about San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston, and then
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and A&M in November. So like they got to produce some of their own energy. They're
Yeah.
gonna have to figure out some things themselves
Well, it's
to
just
get themselves going.
Yeah, in October being all on the road, it's unique. I
Yeah.
mean, the next big test will be at Florida, which is also a challenge. So
And then
it's a
OU the
weird
next week.
schedule. Yeah, it's a weird schedule for sure. But
If you don't know that, Texas plays, what's today, the 6th? So 6, 13, 20 at home. So say September 20th, they play Sam Houston. They don't return to DKR-Texas Memorial until November.
Right.
It's 42 days away from this place. So
the fans better take what they can get, to
Right,
be honest.
correct.
That's what it is.
and Sark talks, I think the guys have embraced what Sark says about that. If you really think about it, you get 6 home games a year, and
Yeah.
that's it. Like, this isn't like a men's basketball schedule where you get 15,
Yeah.
20 games and you can play whatever. Like,
It's true.
you get 6 games, so you got to make the most of every one of them, and you got to give their fans a reason to come here. They have. They're
Yeah.
the last 2 years they went to the semifinal. They're in the top, top echelon of teams right now in college football. I think. Listen, we keep talking about there's nobody here. I think part of that is just fans are tailgating. They know they don't need to
they'll come
rush in. I feel like for Georgia, for some of those games last year, this place was starting to get full.
Yeah.
An
People
hour
just
out,
knew
45
it
minutes
was-
out. But it is what it is.
They wanted to look at all the celebrities that were here, which
Correct.
Yeah. We
Which
don't have that quite yet.
I don't know that we're going to have that today. Somebody was asking me, I think it might have been Walt, our esteemed CBS Austin sports anchor Walt Macaborski, said something about, will Matthew McConaughey be here on Saturday? And I said,
Who knows?
I don't think so. I said, I don't
Yeah.
know. He goes, it's the home opener. I said, yeah, but, maybe he'll be
Yeah.
up in his suite somewhere. I don't know.
They were all out
Will
last
Glenn
week,
Powell
up
be
north.
here? I don't know. Maybe he will. We'll see.
Yeah. All right.
Look at that. Texas on the other end, having some, getting some of the special teams guys loose. It's always to see the recruits here. Kind of what you're going to get. This is new, by the way. They've roped this off. This is kind of new.
Yeah.
But it kind of gives you an idea of where you're allowed to go. The white dotted line was not enough. We needed to add these because nobody could figure that out.
I hope they're going to move them.
I don't think they are. I don't know. Maybe not.
That would be sort of a hazard.
Yeah, it would be. That's actually a good point.
Well,
they'll move them.
Yeah.
What else? What else you want to hit on before you got to go shoot?
I think that's about it. I'm just excited to see, fans file in here, get the energy going, and just see those early throws from Arch. I feel like he had a version of the yips last week, and he's got to shake that off.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he's able to do that.
I feel like you did that on purpose before you left to make sure you got a Taylor Swift reference in by saying "shake it off."
I did not say that.
Bob
loves Taylor Swift.
There are rumors going around, and I'm gonna question you on this. There are rumors going. Hold on, before you go, come back in here. There are rumors going around last night. I don't know if you got to watch the Chiefs-Chargers game.
I watched the first
Travis Kelce took out Xavier Worthy on a crossing route. Xavier got hurt.
Yeah.
Do you believe when Taylor Swift said, "Oh, I love Xavier Worthy, I'm excited about him," do you think Travis heard that? It scares him every time. Hour to kick. I'm telling you, it scares everybody every time.
I'm very
Do
jumpy.
you think Travis took Xavier out on purpose?
No, that was super unfortunate. I hope he gets better. I know he was out the rest of the game, but I didn't see much more other than that. So, yeah.
I'm just asking the questions. We're investigative journalists, if we're nothing else.
Well, I know how much you love talking about Taylor Swift, Bob, so I'm going to let you get to it.
Darby
All
Brown,
right.
everybody. CBS
Adios.
Austin. Good to see Darby as Texas gets set to take on San Jose State. We are at the top of the hour, or 60 minutes to kick at least, as Texas gets set to take on San Jose State here on our live stream, brought to you by Best Day Brewing. We did this at Ohio State last week. We had a bunch of guests come on because a bunch of people were down here. Teddy, if you want to pan a little right and kind of show off what's going on over here. So this is what happens in pregame. You see a lot of the recruits come in, a lot of the VIPs that are get sideline passes for the pregame and get to walk around. I love that. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you.
Hey, I like the new podcast.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you to say. Hey, it's all Mac and Vince. Very nice shout out there is talking about the Stampede, our new podcast. But this is a look at some of the recruits walking through. What's going on? Oh yeah, handshake. What's up, Drew? How you doing, man? Good to see you. So you'll get two of the baseball guys just walk by. You'll see a lot of different sports. We saw Texas volleyball here. There's Sean Miller, new Texas head basketball coach, walking by as Texas. Yeah, let me get out of the way. Let's see a little Sean Miller here. This is with Chris Ogden. But these guys come down, they get a chance to see, this is Sean's first Texas game. So that's kind of a fun opportunity for him to get to see a Texas game in person. Chris Ogden, his bodyguard. No, I'm kidding. Chris is great. Obviously, you guys know Chris played here. Was back in the early 2000s with Rick Barnes. He's been around this program. Went to be a head coach at UTA for a little bit, but he's been around this program, a part of this program for such a long time. Bleeds burnt orange. And you guys remember his kid hit the game winner in the state championship last year, so that's another fun one. But Sean Miller just walked by. We saw some of the Texas volleyball team walk through here, and then a bunch of Texas football recruits are here. Texas will have a few big recruiting weekends this year as they go through the process of trying to get these 4 and 5 stars to commit here. But like I was saying, last week we had a bunch of people coming through. All the media was on the field, hadn't been to Ohio State, wanted to see kind of what was going on. This week, so far, again, 56 minutes to kick, not as many. If Sean walks back by, I'm going to try to get him for one quick question to see what he thinks of this place. And it's going to be fun for him to get the opportunity. Again, he was at Xavier, not a football school. So he didn't get that opportunity. Arizona, somewhat of a football school at times with good teams, but it's nothing like this. And there are there are 20 schools in the country, 25, 30, I don't know, that have an atmosphere that is unmatched. Well, you can't say unmatched if there are 30 of them, I guess. But you can still say very elite. Like I said, great opportunity for these guys to. I'm not going to yell at Sean, but you can if you go that way, Teddy. You can see some of the recruits, some of the families that are in town for this game, which is a lot of fun. Some of these people have never. I saw a guy walking by, and he just looked around. And he went, "Wow!" Like he's obviously never been in this place, never had the opportunity to be in this place. And for him to just kind of look around and go, wow, like that tells you, I think sometimes we can take it for granted. I think sometimes we can, we don't necessarily think about all these things. We don't think about the important things that go into some of this stuff. And so it's a great opportunity. Billy, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. So anyway, like I was saying, there's a fun opportunity for that this year. I'm gonna stand here for a second and let Teddy shoot. Coach is here again. We had Vic on the pregame show last week. Where is he? Oh, I see him. Vic Schaefer in the house. Love to see Vic. He's always a positive person on your day. So if you missed our pregame show last week, what's it? Yeah, you want to come on? Yeah, come on. Will Matthews is here. Oh, Teddy, sorry. We put that mic back. Will Matthews is here with us. We're gonna get Will on. You're a stud for doing this 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, man.
How are you? Step back. How are you?
I'm really good.
Yeah, you feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's 80% humidity, so that's
just like stuff.
Okay, hold on. Wipe off for a minute.
I should have brought my towel from the house.
All right, so 54 minutes to kick. Not a lot of people inside the stadium. People enjoying themselves tailgating this morning, I hope. What are your vibes? It's kind of they're not what they were last week, I can tell you that.
No. And I think, and hopefully the expectations for the team, and most notably our buddy Arch, there might be a little bit tempered and maybe better for the team. Like, you don't have to carry the world on your shoulders. And if, the advice to them and the team today is, guys, just be you. You are enough. You are at Texas. This is the standard. And just go out and do your thing. Like, backyard football. Have fun. Will
Matthews, the former Texas fullback, sideline reporter, doesn't look like a fullback anymore, which I still love. I'm going to bring that up every time. Let's talk about Arch. Obviously, a little bit of a disappointing week last week in the first half, kind of settled in the second half. How much do they need to run him? How much do they need to just let him get his arm going? Like, what are kind of your thoughts on what they need to do with him?
Based on last year when you're looking at Quinn needed those bubble passes really short, that 10-yard or less kind of completions right off, almost a pseudo running game to get himself comfortable and into a rhythm. It seems like Arch, he didn't really get into the rhythm until he ran somebody over. So I don't know. I mean, you don't want to put him in harm's way. I mean, he is our guy for this year. But there are some people who require that. I mean, I know as a fullback, if I didn't hit anybody, I wasn't playing. So quarterback's a different position, but I think he needs that physicality to get going, moving his legs, and that triggers everything else. And he started to relax, especially into the fourth quarter.
He wouldn't say that he was overwhelmed or surprised or anything by the environment. What do you think he was? Because based on what we saw the 2 games last year, he was not himself. He didn't look like anything of the Arch Manning that we have seen. I don't mean what we expect. I mean what we've actually seen. What did you take away from his first half?
And I've been there, and I've got a lot of grace for this. The nerves that comes from not being ready. He was ready. Not having the ability. He had the ability, but being able to translate that to the field as well as push away the pressure is a muscle that you gain over time.
For sure.
He has played football for us. He started a couple of games last year, and he was electric. But it's a difference coming in and adding or being the focal point. And I just think it takes a little bit of maturity. I don't think they're going to pare back anything. They're just going to let him do his thing, and I think that's the way he's going to be comfortable. And he's got 3 games to work it out.
Okay, so I think there's this prevailing thought that because of what happened last week, Arch is going to come out guns blazing, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. I have a different perspective on that. Morning, Chris. Chris Blonsky. I think Sark is hell-bent on establishing they're going to run the football this year. I think C.J. Baxter and Quintravian Wisener. I think we're going to see Christian Clark. I think we're going to see Jarrett Gibson. How important is it these next 3 games? Yes, to get Arch settled, but to show our offensive line can move the football. Our running backs can move the football.
Well, I mean, the running game has got to complement the passing game, and you can't play action unless there's actually a threat. And so establishing the run early, I mean, this is a great team to do it. They gave 250 yards up last week, over 50 carries. So this is the time to really work out your fits, put your hands where they're supposed to go, and play against really great competition, but a competition that you should win against. That today is the day where the guys, I don't want you to do 400 yards. I just want you to make the throws that are there. If that 5 for 7 or 20 for 22, it doesn't matter. Just be consistent in how you move.
The wide receivers last week I thought were interesting in some ways because obviously they didn't get as involved probably early as you wanted them to be. Ryan Wingo, a couple 28-yard reception, nice reverse. DeAndre Moore didn't really get involved. We didn't see him at Mosley. Parker Livingston, the nice catch. We got the 4 freshmen behind them. What's most important for those guys today? Is it showing Sark they'll do anything in terms of run blocking, in terms of, you know, what I need to do pass blocking? Is it establishing themselves as deep threats? Is it like, what do you want to see from those guys?
All of that is great.
Yeah.
I want the guys to have fun. If they're good enough, they're here for a reason.
Yeah.
If you have fun, you will play well. And you know what? It takes off the pressure and it makes things like really easy.
Will, I gotta go.
I think we're good.
Okay.
But yeah, as long as
let's go down to Will Matthews. Let's just hear your report. If you got to start talking, just start talking.
Just turn around again.
But yeah, I mean, like when guys are smiling, that means that they're confident in their job. That means that they know the battle ahead of them will be tough, but they can win. And it's a really good way to not let the yips get on you. Where it's like, I dropped the pass and I did this. It's like, it's okay. Guys, focus up, get cohesive, and everything will work.
All right, one more before you go.
Yeah.
Defensively, I thought they played really well last week. Gave up a couple big plays, really bad penalties, timely penalties. I love this. No, I love this. This is we're just having fun. We're just having fun. That's what the receivers do. That's it. Defensively, what's most important to you today?
You know, what I want from the guys is for them to have two things: a little bit of maturity and the ability to get a little bit better. So we're talking about the top-notch defense, probably, arguably, the top 5 defense in the country, and hopefully they become number 1 and continue that tradition for the last couple of years of having a stout defense. You don't get there by taking leaps and bounds. You get there by doing the small things. If your hands were in one place and you didn't like the way that you move them, and you work out those details because the competition's coming. Just a couple of weeks, we're going to Florida. We're going there, and we got to be ready.
Will, go have fun today. Will Matthews, former Texas fullback. I said running back.
Yeah.
Not like you did. You got the end zone.
Oh yeah.
I saw it. Let's have
against Oklahoma State.
I mean, come on. Running back / fullback, Will Matthews. Always fun to have him on the pregame. Hopefully he'll continue to join us, and then I'll go buy him a lunch. But it's good to see Will. Okay, if you're just joining us, we are 47 minutes to kick. We're going to stay on for just a couple more minutes, and we'll get out of here, let you guys go enjoy your morning. I'll go back to my 3 keys, my 3 key thoughts for today. I don't think there are 3 keys to the game. Come on, Toddy. Come on through, Toddy. Don't worry about our live shot, Toddy. So I'd say I've got 3 things I want to see, and I'll give you 1 from each. Number 1, offensively, I think we all want to see Art settle in. I want to see Christian Clark. I want to see Jarrett Gibson. Let me take that back. I want to see Christian Clark. We haven't seen him yet. I want to see Christian Clark. I think CJ and Quintravian are going to establish themselves. I want to see what Christian Clark can do. I want to see if they can continue. I want to see if they can continue in the passing game. I want to see how elite is Ryan Wingo. Is Parker Livingston that guy that they can truly trust? It looked like he was last week. Huge diving catch in the end zone for a touchdown. I want to see that this week. That's what I want to see offensively, though. Like, I want to see Christian Clark. I want to see him establish the run game because I think that is going to be as vital as anything for this team as they move forward. Defensively, I want to see a lot of different things, but I want to see the younger guys, probably in the same fold as a Christian Clark. I want to see some of those younger guys and what they can establish. As an example, like a Kobe Black is a guy that we've been hearing his name a bunch over the last few years. Xavier Filsameek is another guy we've been hearing his name. Jordan Johnson-Rubel. There are a lot of guys on that front. I want to see who they are. What can they make it? Can they go make a big play? You know, Sark talked about creating turnovers. They got to have turnovers, but Who are the guys that create them? Who are the guys to establish that? I think we're going to see that. And then in the kicking game, I think we saw who Jack Bowster is, which is a lot of fun. I want to see Mason Shipley kick field goals. Again, you've got to establish guys' confidence. And as much as you're like, we need to score touchdowns, I get that. You need Mason Shipley to kick a few field goals. You need of 40 plus. You need him to get comfortable in that kicking game, because they're going to need him this year. It's somebody they are going to absolutely have to have him, and it's one of the key things that they're going to need is a good kicker. We saw what happened last year. There's national champion head softball coach Mike White. What we saw last year was in that Georgia game, in the Arizona State game, and Burnt Auburn. What happened happened. You've got to have the confidence in your kicker. Is Mason Shipley that guy? So really, I think those three things are going to be most important to me. I want to see Christian Clark. I want to see the young guys on defense, who they are, who they're going to be, and I want to see what Mason Shipley can do. I think that's something that's going to be a very important piece as Texas moves on. All right, we're 45 minutes to kick. Yeah, 45 minutes to kick. We appreciate you guys joining our live stream. Been on for almost an hour. Talked to Will Matthews. Darby gave her thoughts as well. Again, these next three games are important for establishing who they are, who they're going to be, what are they elite at. And I think we know they're going to win these three games. What are they elite at? What do we look at and say, that's it? So when they go back into that big game atmosphere, when they go to Florida, when they go to Oklahoma, in Dallas, when they go to Georgia, what do they know they can trust? And who are those guys they can trust? And I think over the next three games, they start to establish some of that. All right, I'm going to let Teddy shoot here for just a second, get a little bit, but we thank you guys for joining us. These live streams are always fun to do in the pregame. You get to see a little bit of the field, a little bit what's going on outside. You can see Sark. You got Sark there, Teddy. There's Steve Sarkisian getting his team ready as they get set to take on San Jose State. 44 minutes from kick. Thank you all for joining us. We look forward to we'll be on social media all game. Hit me up at Bob Ballou Sports on Twitter, and we can any questions you have, anything you want to know, we'll go to it. All right, guys, appreciate you joining us. Texas and San Jose State coverage at 6. We're actually on at 6:30 tonight. Coverage at 6:30 and again at 10. Talk to you soon.